Okay guys, right, so basically in this video we're just going to go over which cards I reckon and I think that are pretty much the best ones to use that I've unlocked so far. It's been very successful with the cards that I have been using. I will also go through all the decks if I can, well the decks that I use mainly, which is Nilfgaard monsters and is it Skelecat? I can't even remember the green one. But anyway, so yeah, we'll just go through the cards and I'll explain to you what ones they do and when you should probably use them most, and also what decks they're best suited for. Alright, so let's check some out. Okay, so obviously Alzura's Sunder is one of the most used special cards in the game. It takes away 7 damage. Um, it's, I'd say, very useful. I mean, I've got it in pretty much all my decks. We'll go through some more. It's up to you if you guys use that one. I say I recommend using that if you're a special card user. Now, if you want to toggle the resilience, now that means so you can use the card next round. It will save its power, and providing it hasn't been locked, damaged, or destroyed, it will save its power, and then it will save over to the next round. I've got a couple of them again in the deck, but then I've also got cards that already automatically have resilience, which I'll go through with you in a second. Now, Thunderbolt Potion. There's another one of these that adds on shield as well. I wouldn't recommend using these ones. I'd recommend using the one that adds the shield on as well. That is very useful, this card. I can't even pronounce that word. I'll try it. Dimitium. Something shackles, but anyway, it can lock golds, it can lock any special ability. I reckon that's best used against the monster card. I forgot the name. I think it's Valor, the one that absorbs and sucks out the power of all his allies. He still remains gold, so that would be perfect for that. Use it with a Scorch card, which automatically destroys the highest unit. Now, this Mardrome is a good card. It can spawn the spores or a mutagen. Now, a mutagen is one that damages your opponent's cards, while spores is one that heals your own cards. It can be useful, but I don't use it. Now, Lacerate is a very good useful card, especially if you're up against monsters and they use a lot of low level cards. It's very useful for that. This is the one that I was on about, Immune Boost. It adds 3 armor to adjustment units and boosts them by 3 as well. So that gives you essentially 6 extra points. This one's also a good one. Boost up to 6 random allies by 2. Now, Blood Curdling Boar is one of the best ones to be used, especially if you use the monster deck, because it can absorb the lower level cards, which can be quite useful after you use certain special cards. Decoy. Decoy is one of the best, obviously, because you can also bring back any monster except gold. You can bring back any card except a gold one, unless it's been locked, which is actually very useful. So say if you've got I think it's the Wyvern that after 3 turns it destroys all the highest. If someone locks that, you can actually decoy that, bring it back, and then put it back on the field with 11 health, and it can still have its same ability. So that is a very highly used card. I'd recommend that. Now, there's Scorch, the one that I was on about. It destroys all the highest units. I'd advise having at least 1 or 2 of them in your deck. I've only got 1, but if I get another one, I'll be putting that straight in. I'd also Summoning Circle. I recommend using this as well, because if your opponent uses a card that you think would be handy on your side, you can use that, and it spawns basically a base copy of the last enemy that your opponent played from their deck. Again, it does not work on golds, but it does on silvers and bronze, I believe. This one is good. It only works for Nilfgaard. It destroys and locks an enemy, so this would be perfect again for the monster, especially with the leader card that absorbs and locks basically all their power. That would be perfect for that one. If you want to summon a gold card, then Royal Degree is the good card for that. You can summon a gold card from your deck whilst you shove the others back in. Okay, so we're on the leaders now. So Unseen Elder, that's the one that I was on about. So Scorch, the toggle lock, and also assassination will be perfect use for the Unseen Elder. Like I said, you can lock and then destroy him after he's absorbed a lot of strong enemies. Eredin is one of my favourites, so I use him quite a lot in the monster deck. He has the power to summon anything. A wild hunt, I couldn't even remember what they were called, sorry, I went blank for a second. He summons a wild hunt ally. He can absorb, no sorry, he doesn't absorb, he can, oh god, I keep forgetting the words now, what's the word he says? But anyway, he can summon up to 4, I think, of his allies, but the best one I'd use is the Frost one, where you can spawn a Biting Frost. That's a good one. So I'd recommend using Eredin. Now, for Ethan, I can't even pronounce that. I'm sorry, my wording today is just not good, but anyway, for the green deck, I recommend using her. I do use it quite a lot, it's one of my favourite decks. She resurrects a special card, so that's highly useful if you've only got one Scorch card and you want to use it again, or any other special card that comes in handy. Dagon, now he spawns basically any sort of weather, Biting Frost, Inevitable Fog and Torrential Rain. He's pretty good if you're looking to damage the enemy, I guess, but I don't use him that much. So yeah, guys, just to let you know as well, I've got 15 minutes on this one, as this is not a live video, it's a share video, so I've got to make sure that I've got 15 minutes of it in. Alright, what else have we got on here? See, I don't really use many of these cards, but I know these ones here are used quite a lot, especially this one. Now, Foglets is good to have in your monster deck, especially if you have an immeasurable fog that you want to use, because as soon as you use a fog special card, these 3, if you have all 3 in your deck, will appear. So then that increases your board by 6 points. I recommend getting 3 of them. Elven Mercenary. Now, she spawns a super card. You can draw the top 2 basically, and you pick one. She's very good. I've got 3 of them in my deck, I believe. So she's a very well played card that I'd use. Ambassador, well, as soon as you deploy him, he's Nilfgaard only. He boosts an ally by 10. Now, sometimes he can be good and sometimes that can be bad, because if you boost an ally by 10, that means you're open for a very, very high attack. Now, Combat Engineer, he deploys and toggles the unit's resilience, so he's basically similar to the resilience wolf that I showed you earlier, but he obviously increases your stats by 2 points as well as resilience. See, I don't use none of these ones, so I couldn't explain what they would do. Now, this one, the Harpy, as soon as you spawn it, it spawns 2 eggs next to it. If them eggs get damaged, then out comes a hatchling with, I believe, a power of 3 each in each egg. But if the eggs manage to survive to the end of the round, they actually spawn next round and they give you 6 points ahead for the start of next round. I recommend using them. Now, if you use the monster deck as well, Arachnus is very good. So if you've got all 3 in your deck, as soon as you play one, the other 2 appear as well. But if you've got the main spider, which I cannot remember what it's called, and I probably won't find it till later, but there's another spider that deploys a shield. If you deploy that and consume another ally, then more of these will appear. Neckers are brilliant to have on your team. As soon as one dies, another one appears. You can only have 3 per hand though, which sucks. So they're pretty good to have. Ekamira, he's a deploy and gain resilience. He consumes an ally though. So if you've got a really strong ally and your opponent has passed, I'd recommend, even if you're losing, to play him and your down cards, because he can absorb them and the points will carry up until next round. Harpies, these are the ones that come out of the up here. So the Selenary Harpies, these come out of the eggs. And they trigger death wishes as well if you play them solo. So you can actually trigger the death wish of the Harpy beforehand, so you can actually spawn more eggs. Now the Elven War Dancer is very good. If you've got these at the start of your deck, I recommend discarding them so they go straight into play automatically. They are very useful if you use the green deck. Okay guys, right, well I'm going to end the video here on part 1, but if you want to check out part 2, I will be doing that pretty much straight away. I've just got to have a 15-minute time limit, so you know I've got to do it within 15 minutes. But yeah, if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you in part 2. Peace out.